My name is Joshua Vesh, and this is my persuasive speech. Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about affirmative action and DEI and why they shouldn't exist the way they have been put into action today. So first I'm just going to talk about what is affirmative action and DEI. So affirmative action was introduced in 1961 by then President John F. Kennedy. He used the term affirmative action when creating the Equal Rights Committee for Opportunity, and he did this to make sure that everybody in every race and every gender had an equal right to careers and to education. And it was very, very effective throughout the 60s, 70s, and all of the 1900s basically, and it led us to where we are today. DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. DEI has been around for a very, very long time, and it has had goals of doing the same thing, making sure that people who are underrepresented become represented and have equal opportunity for jobs and education. So this here is Loretta Walsh. She was huge in women's rights because she was the first ever woman to join the Navy and not be in the medical field, actually go into the field of combat, which was a huge leap and bound and was just a big step forward in paving the way for many women who are now in our current generation to do the same thing. This here, right here, is James Meredith. James Meredith was the first ever African American student at Ole Miss University. This was huge as well because it was right at 1961, and that went right with Kennedy's new law, and that was another huge stepping stone and paved the way for many more great things to come. So now that brings us to where we are today with affirmative action. So as of last year on June 29th, the Supreme Court ruled that Harvard's education admission system and the University of North Carolina's admission system were unconstitutional. So the reason for that is these students sued because they felt that they weren't getting fairness and their merit wasn't being represented in the way it should have, and that they didn't have the same opportunity as every other student. So the Supreme Court ended up ruling it unconstitutional because it goes right against the Constitution and saying that people should get any type of special treatment or anything like such based on race and gender and things that don't have anything to do with where you came from and things like such. So another thing I want to talk about is what should college admissions base their admissions off of. I believe that colleges should look at students' ACT scores based on the rest of their school, comparing it to the rest of their school, as well as their GPAs. I think comparing it to the rest of the school will show how each student has excelled given the situation they've been in. Another thing you can go off of is household income. That's very representative of what opportunities each student has had and how they can be further represented in the future. So, and then of course there's other things such as coming from a single parent household, like myself, applying to colleges. Things like that should matter because you may not have had the same opportunities growing up as other people. So that's how I think admissions should be, and it's how the Supreme Court has ruled the way they are. So DEI being diversity, equity, and inclusion, I believe that we should go off of a system called merit fairness, and equality. Now, the reason for that is DEI in recent years has been known to kind of just hit quotas. So an example actually is the United States Secret Service. In recent years, the now former director of the Secret Service stated that she wanted to hit 30% female as her goal and really represent females in the workforce, which I think is great. However, when you put a quota and a number on it, it takes away from the merit of the job and the fairness and equality of it. Because the United States Secret Service, their duty is to protect officials, events, and candidates for people running through office. And I believe that a career as such, it should only be based off of merit and your skill to get the job done, regardless of the color of your skin, gender, or ethnicity, or sexuality, anything of that such. I think that should be completely irrelevant because of what the career entails. So, actually, according to the Pew Research Center, in 2021, over half of the country believed that race shouldn't be looked at when determining your college admissions. And I would say I agree with that because the other things that I have mentioned are very much more representing of the whole story of it all. Another thing with DEI in recent years, many companies have been known to do the same thing with quotas, such as Frito-Lay and even at places like Coca-Cola. So I think using the merit, fairness, and equality method instead of DEI, even though DEI had a very rich history of helping people throughout the 1900s, I think that it's time to make opportunity actually equal for everybody and have the right people go to the right jobs and have people who are talented in certain fields have the opportunity that they should. And yeah, so that kind of concludes why I believe that DEI and affirmative action shouldn't be the way they have been in recent years. So, thank you.
Yep, we're still here.